get to be any little thing that we want to be. No matter what comes our way, we'll be together, together.
Welcome to Homeschooling Down South. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Kat. We're two Southern homeschooling mamas sharing real talk, resources, and inspiration for life and learning in the Southeast.
Each week, we'll chat with inspiring voices in the homeschool community, highlight must-see nature spots and field trip gems, and share resources from across the region.
Whether you're new to homeschooling or a seasoned pro, pull up a chair and join us as we celebrate the joy, freedom, and community of homeschooling down south.
We'll laugh together, we'll learn together, find the joys in life together, give each other grace and space to be.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. We are so excited because we have made a new friend via Instagram, and she has agreed to sit and chat with us. We have Christina Cook from Homeschool from Scratch. Hi, Christina. How are you?
Hey, I'm so excited to talk with you guys. This is so fun already.
We're so
Well,
excited that you're here.
We are so excited, and I routinely just scope out Instagram to see who's out there that we need to be talking to. And when I found your page, I was like, yep, we need to be talking to her because she's doing some really, really cool things. And a lot of the things that I saw you doing, I knew Kat would just be obsessed with. So I was like, I hope she doesn't think I'm creepy reaching out and being like, hi, do you want to be on our podcast?
No, I love it. Yes. I have been so excited. I started the channel less than a year ago, and starting something on Instagram, you never know how that's going to go. But I love teaching. I've been so passionate about it, and I'm an extrovert. And so teaching can be a very lonely thing itself. And then you do homeschooling, which is like the loneliest version of teaching there is. And I just kind of thought, what's the worst that can happen? I love connecting with people. The internet can be good at that if you're brave and willing. It's been so fun. Truly, anyone who's, in the middle of trying to do something like that, find community and homeschool, be brave. It's worth it. And you can find it quicker than you think. I think truly, if you're looking.
What a
I
good
love
message.
that.
So how does an extrovert end up in that homeschooling lane? What brought you to homeschooling?
Well, having children. I mean, before I had children, I loved being a teacher. I cannot tell you how much it killed me to leave the classroom. The only thing that would convince me to do it is I had my own children. And, the only thing that does not make sense is to leave your own children to go and teach other people's children. I loved teaching. I loved it. I lived it and I breathed it. It was a calling for me, and I'm so blessed that then it's a seamless transition to use that calling with my own kids. I have so much respect for so many moms and women who had a entire different realm they were coming from to be a homeschool mom. And honestly, that's who I'm trying to serve. I'm trying to serve everyone. I think even teachers, we have a learning curve because you have to unlearn a few things. It's a different teaching model. So there's still a lot that you find your way through. And it's not just your profession, it's your home life, it's your culture, it's your friendships. So yeah, homeschooling is a whole different ball game. But truly, I had my oldest and I was teaching at a homeschool hybrid school. So are you guys familiar with that model? So
Yeah.
essentially, students are with a teacher in a school, usually like 2 days a week. Ours was 2 days a week. And then the other 3 days they're home and they're implementing the lesson plans the teacher has created. So that was the model that I was a teacher in. So I'd already been familiar with the homeschool community in that way. And then thought maybe, 2 days a week, maybe that's a good balance and I would just keep teaching, but I wanted to be fully home. I wanted to be fully home. And then a good thing because God knew what he had in store because I've had 4 kids in 5 years. So I have a
Wow.
whole classroom. God knew I would need to be home to attend to that. So I've been so blessed and lucky that we've been able to have me home. Not everyone's able. I am so thankful I've been able to be. That's
That journey
awesome.
from school teacher to homeschool mom can sometimes be a little bit rocky because people have built this idea of you as a teacher. What was that like for you? And was it helpful to have been in that homeschool hybrid program first?
Very helpful. So I've been in a couple different school formats. So I started out as a parapro in the public school system while I was going to get a master's to become a full lead teacher. So I got to see that. And then I'm the daughter of a public school teacher. My mom was a teacher for 30 years. So I'm the kid who grew up helping her mom put her classroom together before school, going in after helping do little field trips to her class and perform skits for her class and stuff in high school. So I am like, the super nerd for education. So I've seen a lot of different models. Teaching at that homeschool hybrid was such a beautiful experience. It was a beautiful community and it was it was a beautiful Christian community. The joy of being able to freely speak about your faith in every category and every subject was a delight. So I loved all of that. And I will say, um, I think I've been kind of a rebel educator from the beginning. So I think I think transitioning to homeschooling was kind of like, "Oh, maybe you've always been a homeschool mom and you were able to be a really good teacher." But, I think a lot of the things that resonated most with my students and the moms were the most homeschoolish part of me. When I'd be like, "We're homeschooling. Would you like to come to my farm acreage and we'll do farm day and we'll do outdoor learning and do a nature study?" And, I mean, now I'm looking back, I'm like, "That's homeschooling, Christina." A lot of the things that were most fun and innovative for a classroom are, like, bread and butter homeschool stuff.
Yeah.
So, I've been very
Yeah.
lucky that I think it was part of me all along, truly.
I love that. Rebel educator. I love that.
So, what does a normal homeschool day, and I know every day looks different, but what is your kind of rhythm, your routine? And if I am remembering correctly, you don't have any older than kindergarten, right?
Right, we're at the very beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I would love to hear kind of what that rhythm is like because a lot of people have the question, how do I homeschool my kid when I have these little bitty ones running around? And I'm like, well, I can't help you there. I don't know.
Yeah, I think God maybe is making myself the great experiment for us all. 4 little kids, but I'm a teacher, so let's figure it out. But I have started solving that question for myself. I'd say 2 years ago is when I did the math and I realized, okay, we're countdown to kindergarten, Christina. You can't really get a whole lot done each day, but you can get like 10 minutes of thinking done a day. Let's just take 2 years, 10 minutes at a time, and let's get ready because you want it to be a stress-free launch to kindergarten. So, I mean, literally, we are doing what I intend to do for our kindergarten year now, even though technically, if we were going into a public school system, my oldest would be waiting an additional year. Like she's going to turn 5 in January. So technically, I have that time, but I know because I'm going to be hit back to back to back, right?
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, so I've worked with a lot of homeschool families in that homeschool hybrid, but I also have been hired on to do, I don't know if there's a term for it. I call it homeschool governess, where you can hire someone to come and implement homeschool in your family. I think of Jane
Yeah.
Eyre. So I've done that with I think 6 families now. So they'll hire me on and I'll do homeschool with all of their children and I tend to follow them for a few years. So I had a group of like maybe 3 families and then we followed each other for 4 years and then they kind of graduated out. And then now I'm working with a family I've been working with for 3 years. So I've gotten to see a lot of what it can look like, which has been so helpful. And the one thing I saw again and again, because they come and they hire me, right? So they're hiring me because there's a specific point where the family gets overwhelmed.
Mm.
And if you can get help, it's a great time to get help. And it's when the oldest is like 10 and you have 3 kids you're homeschooling at the same time. And so what happens is you think your oldest is ready to be completely independent, but they're not quite. I mean, like a middle or a high schooler, you can say, read this and come back to me and tell me what you read. But they're like right on that cusp. And there's a weird stretch and growing year where it's kind of a lot all at once. All your kids still need a lot of hands on one on one. So I had a whole freak out where I was like, I have 4 kids back to back. I really want to make homeschooling work, but I know it's coming and I know. My brain did this thing where even though we have not even started kindergarten, I was like, I want something that can give us a joyful experience, let's say through 5th grade. God can throw so many things at you. Who knows what the right thing for your family is forever, right? But let's say that that's what I'm hoping for. So I really, really worked at it. And what we're doing now, that my hope is will be what I do with all my kids who are not yet readers to gracefully bring them into schooling, right? Let's learn to read and write. Let's learn arithmetic. Just getting them on that foundational learning is a whole family routine. So we're already doing it together because I have a 4.5-year-old and a 3-year-old. My 3-year-old doesn't have to do formal learning yet, right? But he likes being part of it. And I'm happy to have him join us. If he's interested in showing that, sure, you can come and you can be a part of it. So we do a lot of, I'll say, eclectic Charlotte Mason. So in addition to just morning devotional routine and chores, we start our day around 9 o'clock and we live on acreage. We live on 8 beautiful forested acres. So we go out and we do a nature walk, and that usually includes taking care of our chickens, going to the garden, picking anything that's seasonal. The kids love that. By the way, if you want your kids to eat vegetables, grow vegetables. It's the only thing,
100%.
only way my kids will touch a vegetable. And they'll try it right there in the field and they'll be like really excited to try a tomato. So anyway, highly recommend. But so we'll do that and then we'll go around, walk the property. It's still hard, I will say. So imagine I usually have a baby strapped to me and I'm usually holding the other. And then I have 2 that are, well, I have 3 walking, but 2 that will walk and 1 that wants me to hold. So then when we come in at 10, that's when we do our whole family circle time routine. Anyone who's totally new to all this, circle time is like the best kept secret of kindergartens everywhere. Every adorable Maria von Trapp or Mary Poppins type kindergarten teacher has a circle time. They're the ones making it look happy and magical. And it's like all the kids get on the rug. The teacher's like singing little songs. She's pulling out puppets and everyone's happy and they're learning, right? So I thought, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be that person. So we've come up with a whole family routine. It centers around a read aloud. Kids are very young, so that's a picture book, right? And then we have a little um, frog puppet that we pull out who's the host for it. And we
I love this
do
so
a little
much.
bit of emotions work, like, how are you feeling today? Turn it to the person next to you, like conversation skills to open. And then we do just a little bit of phonics and literacy with like a letter of the week routine that we have and calendar routine. And I incorporate math with the calendar routine. So it's this one-stop shop and I love it because most days it really is all 4 kids. I mean, I have an 8-month-old and he does tummy time and just interacts with the puppet and he likes it and it's pretty short and sweet. So we do that circle time and then the rest of the day is truly anything that happens as a bonus. We're often baking, we're often doing like a math game or exercises and things like that, but they're very young. So it's literally nature walk, circle time, we're out. But we do it every
I love
day
that.
and they love it and I love it. It's working.
That's
That's
awesome, and I
awesome.
love that you don't try to I don't wanna say overthink 'cause we all overthink, but you're not trying to do too much. You're being age appropriate, and I love that.
I was just gonna say, if you knew how much overthinking I did to arrive at this. But, okay, I will say you said, okay, the transition from the schoolroom to this, right? I still have to really, really fight the urge to overeducate. I have to really
Mm.
fight the urge, and it I have to remind myself. So anyone who's thinking that, because I do think anyone who comes to me, I have this channel, people know that like I'm talking about homeschooling, so they'll talk to me about it. I feel like the feeling is the anxiety that you're going to ruin it. You're gonna There's no way they're gonna learn to read. There's no way, they're gonna stunt their growth or all these different things. I feel it too, even though I have all of this proof. I have like 15 years of teaching proof that I have guided a child from the point zero all the way through 8th grade, I can see all kinds of students, all kinds of learners, and all kinds of paths. It's just it really requires faith, trust, and bravery.
Yes.
And I have to remind it all the time, all the time. So thank you. Yes, I am trying to be better about not controlling the situation, just being a good steward of the situation.
And that is the challenge because as mothers, we want so much for the best for our kids and that sometimes can lead to wanting to control things, but that's not when we operate from our best place.
I actually okay, so I'll confess, I was on the very, like, type A hyper educate the child track, like, a few years back. So, I mean, my oldest was, like, 3, right? Very, very young. My oldest is highly gifted. She spoke very early, so showed a lot of readiness very early, and so I started teaching her to read, and she was getting able to, right? Very young. And then I had a moment where I realized she may be intellectually capable and ready, but emotionally, I could tell she was using it as a way to, I don't wanna say, as a way to brag. And I thought, that's an interesting reaction. Let's take a total step back from that. If her one way to connect with peers is to, if the confidence and all that, what am I creating? I need to completely step back because there's no difficulty here. The moment I decide to, or we decide to step back into that, she will achieve reading. It's not going to be an issue. I have switched to giving her knowledge. We talk a lot about information and the world, and let's get interested and curious, but it's more about the excitement to look around you, not to perform. And that
Yeah.
was convicting for me. Yeah.
Wow.
Christina,
That
that's
I love.
amazing.
Yeah, that you recognize that and then took action is just really, I mean, commend you deeply for that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Because the society that we live in would praise you for your kid reading at 3, right? And encourage you to keep pushing that and perform. And maybe not the homeschool community specifically, but there's just so much pressure to get ahead and
Mhm.
and to be able to step back and see the person, not the achievements is huge. Like what an inspiration to all of us to think about what is the way that we're schooling, bringing out of our kids and fostering in them? That's something I'm gonna be dwelling on for a while.
Yes.
I'm fascinated by this moment that you've observed that one kid hits about 10 and the kids who are younger, and
Mm.
that's this like overwhelm moment. So, what you've designed, the goal of what you have with your circle time and this like foundation is the goal to build a foundation that will help you when you get to that moment.
So the idea is it's set in stone, or, the family routine of the whole family meets at 10 a.m. and we do circle time will stay. My thought is when they're older, it'll switch to being called like morning meeting and we'll phase out the puppet and, like the little kid stuff. But I needed a way to, let's say, onboard the littlest ones. Okay, it's time to start school with my kindergartner. The truth is there are like 5 steps before kindergarten that's learning. My kids were talking about language itself, vocabulary itself, you're reading to them a lot, emotions work, learning how to take turns talking. There's all kinds of stuff that you do a lot of education before you, let's say, teach them phonics, right? And I wanted a way to kind of keep myself accountable and to have a system so that they were getting that. Because again, I have 4 kids. My oldest got so much focus. I mean, oldest child syndrome, right? We got too much. And my mom is a teacher too. And she was, mom babysitting. So she had like 5 teachers that are just like teaching her all day long. So I wanted some of that for my younger kids. And we do other stuff when they're very young. I've done like a lot of Montessori shelf work and Montessori style age appropriate learning, things like that. But the idea is, as my oldest becomes a developing reader, that circle time, I'm going to start giving her a leadership role. So now she's going to be the one leading some of the sight word games, or maybe when she's a proficient reader, she's the one doing the picture book read aloud. And that gives her a chance to have a small, friendly audience to perform, right? And then when all of them are proficient readers, then we're doing chapter books, and we're probably in a totally different routine. And my hope was we could still have a unified family culture. We've all
Yeah.
read the same picture books. We even before chapter books. There's so many moments I'm looking forward to. I know I loved reading novels with my class when I was a classroom teacher, and it does create this beautiful culture. But I never wanted starting homeschool to feel like a way that my younger kids are getting excluded. And I
Right.
get it because it's kind of like, how can you do it? The thing I saw over and over was the oldest is with you at like the kitchen table. The youngers are hopefully napping if you can be sure they can nap. But we all know my problem with that is well, they're a child. Maybe they need you that moment. And
Mm.
if you're relying on them not needing you to be the way you can homeschool, you're going to resent them needing you. You're going to be stressed out. It's not a way to live because you have to be 100% there for them as the mom, I think, priority over the homeschool mom, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I knew whatever we do, I have to be able to actually be the mom too. And this circle time is interesting because we have the same routine every day. We've been doing it a year and a half, 2 years now. The kids know it so well they can do it themselves, other than reading the book. And I could probably get the audiobook online and I could do it with like a fake puppet version of me and they'd never know I wasn't there. That was my goal. That's my philosophy in teaching too in the classroom was to make leaders of the students.
Mm.
Because if you do your job right, the day you have a sub, the sub is the guest in your classroom and they're treating that sub with respect, saying, "Can I show you where we put our things in the morning? I would love to help you. Mrs. Cook said that we should do like leadership." And so truly, I have done circle time while I'm nursing a baby, hands free, and my oldest is turning the pages that I'm holding with my foot and just weird, like you can make it work. So that was my whole goal, like real nitty gritty. It's gotta work. That's my vision for it. It's working so far. I love it.
It's awesome. So clearly, you have all the free time in the world. And so you decided to start this Instagram channel. Tell me how that came about. What made you decide? Had you been posting on another account and you were like, hey, I'm going to focus on this one thing on this account? How did that happen?
No, okay, let me think. What was the first? Okay, it was my birthday and I was getting older. And I thought, I haven't done much with my life, and I have all these dreams and all these things I say I want to do. And it's great to put them in I literally have a dream binder and like an idea binder. It's very thick
I love
now
it.
because I think a lot of these things. And I thought, what good is that? God did not give you these things to just think them and draw them and put them down and then put them in a binder. And it's a bravery issue because I would do these things with my class, with my beautiful safety net of like 12 students a year. We do these really fun, big ideas every year. We were just crazy for each other. The kids loved me. I loved them. We did really fun things. But I just kept thinking when I was a teacher, I kept thinking, if there's a way to do it, I want to be able to give any kid who wants to learn this way a chance to learn this way. And any mom who wants to learn how to do it, to do it. Because, and I don't know how to say this correctly without sounding bad, but I loved every day of teaching. There were very few days that were like, we had to like come to Jesus moment, but almost every single day, it's like the kids were on fire for learning and I could feel it and we were locked in. And I just kept thinking, we got to figure out how to get this into more hands. This is so life-giving and I felt it too. And teaching is interesting because I think there's that temptation to put it online or put it in a book, a faceless book, and think it'll be the same, but it won't be. And really, what you need to do is make more teachers. I think
Mm.
nothing replaces the teacher, nothing replaces the teacher in the room. And so for me, I've had so many amazing mentors. Like you probably could point to people in your life, like 4 teachers who changed my life. And the way they taught, I don't know if I learned the most from them, but I became my best self from them. And they unlocked in me my ability to become a learner. So it's a little different. And I just keep thinking, if we can empower teachers and homeschool moms to be that I think is where the change is going to come. You don't even need a curriculum change, although that would be wonderful, right? But changing the teachers themselves would change
Mm.
it all.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just decided, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to just
Oh,
start posting,
sorry.
put
Look at
myself
me
out
wandering through
there.
my thoughts. I literally thought, I was like, Christina, you're scared, but you got to just try, share these ideas. It's fun. You're a tiny bit lonely because you're a stay-at-home mom and you have wonderful friends, but you know the friend dance. It's like you text them and then it's like a few days because what are you going to text them at midnight when you finally can and wake them up? And it's a weird season for friendship in this very, very young kids phase.
Mhm.
And I thought, I bet that there is community out there and I'm just going to go for it and have a lot of fun. And then it's grown and it has been very fun. I love this kind of stuff. I'm a jack of all trades. I really am. And teaching, interestingly, really used that skill set. I think teaching loves a jack of all trades. And weirdly, Instagram, I think it likes that too. It's good to be a jack of all trades. So it's a good little
Yeah.
fit for me. Liking it.
That's amazing.
And it was a birthday present to yourself.
And
Yes.
yes, yes.
And,
Right.
I know that social media has its, cons, but I do love making connections and meeting people. And you are now the second person that we have interviewed in this innovator space that I met
Really?
on social media.
Okay, here's what I will say. I was on Instagram as just a, like, personal user for, I don't know, a year or 2. I don't know. I think then when I became a creator, it was like I was so inspired by all of the like indie Christian book publishing, and like niche artists, like watercolor artists and children's book illustrators and homeschool moms doing this, like you guys, like niche podcasts. And I don't know if I wasn't looking for it before or what, but it really, like, my eyes were opened and I was like, this is really fun. You can it's easy to be negative about the internet, but I also think we really have an opportunity to be positive. The internet is hard. It's hard. Every time you can be friendly back, I think it shocks people. Because
Mhm.
again, when a video does well enough, there will inevitably be people who didn't like what you were gonna say, even if it's something the few times I've had a video do very, very well. I did not think it was controversial at all. I really did not. I think it was for some people, but that has been the most fascinating thing. So again, education is kind of a bubble. I live in Georgia. I know Georgia's homeschooling laws pretty well. I know Georgia's educational experience pretty well. But when you have a video about education go viral, I got to hear from people all across the United States, Canada, and foreign countries, all talking about like the specifics, and they would DM me all the specifics about their education system, advice for their kindergartner, all these different things. And I thought, this is fascinating because it's not research, but it gives you a view that like Googling could not. It's like on the ground, real feedback faster than if you ask someone to take a survey about how they feel about homeschool kindergarten, no one would take that survey. But if you do a provoking video and it goes viral and they scroll and they're like, I'm not so sure I should be doing that. They'll tell you real quick in comments. So it's made me a better educator. Like I can quickly see some really raw emotions from people. Very good. And sometimes a little bit like pushing back, but it's all very worth it.
It's like a real-time focus group.
Yeah. Honestly, it's been fun.
So, what can people expect when they visit your page? And I am creeping over your shoulder there because the thing on your wall behind you is one of the things that I told Kat. I was like, she does these badges, and this is such a cool idea. I want to do this.
Yes. Okay. So I love getting outdoors and lots of things, and I really want us to be a camping family, right? But, 4 kids under 5. Well, for a while there, when I came up with this idea, I was pregnant. I was like, I'm not going to camp on the ground like 6 months pregnant. I'm not doing that. I'm not that person. But I thought, okay, in the future when, the baby is out, we can try this. So we kind of committed. My life motto is like commit before you feel ready because I'll never feel ready. So we committed to doing like one family camping adventure a month. And my husband was like a former Eagle Scout type. So he's gonna spearhead a lot of this. Because he's excited for the homeschooling aspect too. So, and I really want him to pour into the kids from his unique masculine perspective. There's a
Mhm.
whole lot of learning there. Like, I want him to help give. So, this is our family. Sorry, they can't see. So, I have a whole banner of badges, think Boy Scout badges. And then I have just little backpacks for the kids that are their non-professional campers backpacks. They're just backpacks. But as we complete these family challenges, we're going to iron on the corresponding badge to the backpacks just as a way to be excited for it and look forward to it and have some organization, right? We can handle once a month, and while they're still really young, we're not going to get into the official Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. So it's a fun way for us to dip our toe in that water as a family. What can you expect from my channel? I am a project person. I am artsy and bookish. I love finding the cutest, most adorable, heart-wrenching picture books and telling you about them. My favorite one lately is Brambly Hedge, which I did not know existed. I don't know how I didn't
I
know.
love Brambly
I
Hedge.
Yes, so I'm obsessed. I'm gonna make a whole Bramley Hedge themed Christmas gift for my kids with Mayleg mice if I can afford them. Who knows? Those things are expensive, but they're beautiful. So, or I found this amazing picture book version of the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but it's like oil painting pictures. And they split the book up into 4 picture books. So it's like the right amount. They're not
Mm.
just summarizing the book, it's like episodes. And so there are so many good picture books out there, and that is definitely a heart for mine. Way back in the day, I was an English major before I was anything else. Books are my thing, so that's definitely a big part of it. Projects, and then just generally the big question of how do you start homeschool kindergarten with your oldest when you have all these younger kids underfoot? And hopefully I can laugh with you and encourage you and show you what that looks like for our family, give you some good ideas. And I'm in the works building some resources built specifically for that scenario. And I know there are so many homeschool things out there, but this one for me is for a mom like me that has lots of young kids. And how can I do the homeschool thing well without asking my youngest to like be aside with a toy bin, that kind of thing?
I feel like you had big thoughts on Brambly Hedge.
Yes.
I mean, I love Brambly Hedge. We read it a lot. I bring it with me everywhere I go, which is so silly because it's heavy.
It's huge.
It's huge. But it's one of our favorites. I mean, my son likes to pretend all the time that he's a miller because of Dusty Dogwood, the milling mouse, and I don't even know if he knows what that means, but he likes to pretend that he's Dusty Dogwood. And I mean, they're just the best stories. We read The High Hills before we go on adventures, or we would read the one about the beach before we went to the beach. It's one of my favorite things to just always I always can go to Brambly Hedge, and
That's a beautiful tagline. Yeah.
it is
Welcome
always there.
home.
Welcome
Rambling
home to
Hedge is always here. Yeah.
And I'm really intrigued about this oil painting version of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Our Wild and
Yes.
Free group is for the first time ever doing book club, and we're doing The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And I'm thinking I've got to go find this and find your post about it and put it out to our book club group because what a great resource for the folks who have the littler kids reading alongside. That's an incredible resource.
Do it.
But I'm most excited about the resource that you're coming out with.
Thank you.
So, where will people be able to find resources like the one that you are creating?
Yes. So I'm doing a ton behind the scenes right now to develop kind of like a starter kit for a homeschool kindergarten mom, right? Just something super simple, but beautiful and fun and exciting. I think honestly, that's what I'm bringing to the table is fun and exciting. So I am working I'll say working with the Instagram channel because I'm so lucky to have really engaged people who are a lot of professional educators, a lot of people who are the superstars of like their own homeschooling and teaching community have been hearing me talk about this project and really, really giving me a lot of feedback, great beta reading feedback on it. So I'm creating a little pocket primer for homeschool kindergarten. So probably the word primer is somewhere in you're like, "Oh, I think I've heard of a primer." So historical primers were used for hundreds of years to teach kids how to read. And the beauty of it is it's so simple. Like it's so streamlined. It's just imagine like a tiny novella, but just like a tiny book. And that one book had everything you needed to take a kid from zero to reading. And I love it because I feel overwhelmed, even as a former educator, looking at the curriculum nowadays. Because nowadays, curriculum loves to have like your teacher guide notebook slide, your children's workbook, your consumables, your readers, your language arts, then your grammar book, then your handwriting book. And you're looking at it and you're thinking, and I have 4 kids. And how am I gonna childproof this? First of all, I'm gonna have to hide it in the basement and then come get it because otherwise they're gonna be ripping it up between literally, because I there are good curriculums out there, I will say, and, there's nothing but choices for curriculums. But
Mhm.
what I and I've used a lot of them because I remember, homeschool hybrid teacher and tutor. I've used a lot of them with other students. But when I bought a few of them to seemingly use with my kids, literally the childproofing problem was a big thing where I was like, it's been ripped up and destroyed and we haven't even used one
Mm.
page of it. What are we going to do? And it just felt too much, too much. Let's simplify it. The idea for the pocket primer is it's that beautiful simplicity of historical primer where what if we could just return to just one book, beautifully curated, not overstuffed. And then you, as the homeschool mom and teacher, can use that one book to do a lesson, to do a handwriting, like copy printing, all the things that you would need. And so you're just coming back. It's just very simple. You're using that one thing. And I'm so excited for it because I also believe firmly that things should be beautiful and cute. So I'm going full out on it and I really want it to be lovely. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Tabitha Page. Her beautiful, she does books for young children for language acquisition books, like My First 100 Words.
Mm.
But what she's done is she's totally flipped that industry, which was like kind of cheaply made board books with like photos from the
Mm.
90s that made us all very sad that
Mhm.
we had to have 80 of them in our house.
Yes.
And she took that and she is a professional watercolor artist who is also a speech language pathologist. And she makes these gorgeously illustrated, just like really clean looking, linen bound books. So they're like beautiful. And I just kept thinking, more of that, please. Like,
Mm.
let's flood the market with beautiful things that are high quality. This is interesting. So I have all these little kids and I wonder if you guys have had this experience. I started to think, how in the world can we have a book that won't just explode apart at the seams? Because I love books and I want to buy them, but we explode these books apart. So
Mhm.
I started just like watching which of our books explode apart and which ones hold up. What's so interesting is the board book. The board book, which is supposedly designed to be sturdy and hold up, is often the first one to be ripped and torn apart. And we have this beautiful set of Beatrix Potter, mini pocket sized. They're like 3 inches by 4 inches. They fit in the palm of your hand and they're hard bound and they're from my childhood. They're like my favorite thing from my childhood was this set. It's like 100 of them. They're just adorable and so cute. And I thought, why have these held up so well? There's not a scratch on them, not a page is torn. And I really thought about it and I thought, it's the size. It's
Mm.
the size of the quality. They're made for a little child's hand.
Oh.
And when I watch my kids like turning a page and things like that, the big heavy books, when they turn it, there's so much force, they're ripping it. But that little tiny book, it can hold up quite well. And it's just, they're treating it differently. They can tell that it's precious, that quality, it's like beautiful. So when I was designing this pocket primer, I thought, let's make it pocket sized. I want the kids to feel like it belongs to them. I don't want it to be this flopping, coil bound thing that's going to get ripped around. I want it to feel like their little treasure, like welcome to the world of reading, because it's exciting. Learning to read, can you imagine not having literacy in your life? All the moments that your child relies on you to say, that's a stop sign. That's what this is means. Or like reading a recipe or just every little moment in our lives. And it's exciting. And I wanted the world of welcome to reading to feel that way emotionally. So that's the vision behind this pocket primer project. It's coming together in a Kickstarter. And the Kickstarter is going to launch March 13th. And
Mark your
then
calendars.
yes. And I picked that date because it's super easy to remember because it's Friday the 13th. And then, God willing, if it gets fully funded, it should be in everyone's hands by June to give everyone enough time to look at it and become familiar with it before homeschool starts in the fall.
That's
That
amazing.
it's beautiful. It's so intentional.
Thank you.
And we will, of course,
And
link to the Kickstarter in the show notes.
of course. And you have a couple other things in your Stan store, I notice. You have a couple freebies, and then I think one is behind a paywall. But you've got some other things that you've put together for homeschoolers already.
Yes. So I think first stop is I have a how to start homeschooling checklist. I think if you're at the very beginning, go there. It's very clean and simple. So I'm going to walk you through. I think it's 12 pages. It's very simple. 12 pages of checklist to tell you things like, okay, your first step is you need to know what the homeschool laws are in your state. Okay. Next thing is what options are out there. And I give you some resources for you to figure out like what's your homeschool style? What do you vision for your family? Praying about it to find like a vision statement of like your why. Why am I doing this? Because there's about to be a lot of clutter about the how, but get really clear on the why. And then all of the checklists have like a QR code with examples and things to try to make it really simple for you. So that's a great freebie you should look into. My other freebie is a really fun and silly mini course. It's a video course that'll take you about 10 minutes to complete. And it's free because I have a very interesting superpower that I can get any kid to enjoy and sit still and love a read aloud. You give me your wiggliest wiggler, your adventure kid who is too cool for a read aloud. I can engage them. I know exactly how to do it. I haven't talked about this yet, but I also worked as a behavior specialist for children in foster care. So for a
Wow.
while as an educational advocate and behavior specialist. So for a while, my entire job was to go in for a child in foster care and partner with their teacher in the public education system, create a behavior plan, and give them educational success. And so I have a lot of strategies on how to help every learner do their best and have success. And so I put it all in this little freebie called Read Aloud Genius. And I just show you how I do it. There's like 10 little tricks, and everyone knows, on any given day, one of the tricks will fail. But if you have 10 of them and you pick and choose, one of them's going to work, and that's how you make it work. You pick and choose what's going to work that day. And then I have a more robust offer. If you're really excited about the idea of that whole family circle time, something that is specifically made for the mom who has lots of little kids and wants to do learning as a whole family and have it be no prep. And I mean, no prep. You're going to go to the library and get picture books. But other than that, once you learn the routine, you don't have to be in decision mode. You don't have to be Googling, like, what theme are we going to do this month? Or let me look at the lesson plan to remind myself. It is completely seamless, very nice, gentle start to kindergarten. And that is my Circle Time video course.
I love that.
Amazing. We are going to, of course, link to all of that in the show notes. Christina, we love to wrap up our conversations by talking about a win. Do you have a win that you can share with us?
Okay, I'll share. Can I do a cute moment win?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have the whole family circle time, right? And I'll tell you my kids' ages. So I have a 8-month-old, a 19-month-old, like a year and a half, 3 and 4.5, all very young. And my favorite moment of the day is the kids love circle time, legitimately. So they'll be asking for it, and I'll make them wait sometimes just for fun. I'll be like, I don't know. And then I start it with a song, right? It's time, it's time, it's time, my friends. It's time for circle time. And my absolute favorite moment is when my little 1.5-year-old, right, who she's like talking a little bit, but she's so young. She hears that song, she jumps up and she runs to the spot where we do circle time. And I've made our puppet host for circle time is a little frog. And so I've made these little lily pad cushions that the kids get off the wall to put down. And she has started to, when she hears the song, 1.5-year-old, get the lily pads for everyone and put them down for everyone and sit down. And it just breaks my heart in the most precious way. And it makes it all worth it. So that is my win for today.
That is a beautiful, precious win. Oh my goodness.
And the
Wow.
lily pads are one of my favorite things and
Oh,
make me think that maybe I can do something like that. I've watched that video
you
so many
can.
times.
If you knew how bad I am at sewing and I didn't. Yeah, anyone can.
Well,
Yes.
if people want to check out your lily pad video and all of your other videos, where can they find you?
Yes. Okay. My Instagram channel is homeschool from scratch, and that's going to be spelled homeschool_from_scratch.
And Kat, where can they find you?
I'm at Recreating Camp. How about you, Kayla?
I am at scratchmadesimple_ on Instagram and at scratchmadesimple on TikTok. And as always, you can find us at Homeschooling Down South. If you know of somebody like Christina who's doing amazing things in the homeschool community, we would love to hear from you at hello@homeschoolingdownsouth.com. Christina, thank you so much for your time today. This has been so much fun, and we're just so grateful.
Thank you so much for having me. I've loved talking with you guys.
If you liked this episode, you can give us a 5-star rating and review wherever you're listening. But more importantly, we would love it if you would send it to a friend who needs to hear Christina's words and ideas of wisdom and joy and beauty. So we hope you'll send it along. We'll see y'all next
Bye, y'all.
week.
And we'll love together, we'll learn together, explore this whole wide world together. No matter where we are.